My name is Clarissa Shields, and you're watching True School Sports.
My flow, my show brought me the dough that bought me all my fancy things. My crib, my cars, my clothes, my jewels. Look, homie, I came up and I ain't changing. You should love it way more than you hate it. Oh, you mad? I thought that you'd be happy I made it.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT. When I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I'm patrolling the streets of Hollywood right now. You know, it's really late at night. I'm really bored at the house, at the apartment. So I figured I'd just take a walk, talk to you guys. I wanted to knock out a couple of videos for just to kind of recapping some of these fights that were on the Joshua undercard that ended in controversy. So the first one we're going to talk about is actually the greatest women's boxing match I've ever seen in my life personally, and that was between Katie Taylor and Delfine Persoon. Now, for those of you who have been following women's boxing on any level, you would know, if you have, that Katie Taylor versus Delfine Persoon was probably one of the biggest matchups out there to be made. So when it was made, and for the undisputed title, you know, at lightweight, it was going to be a big fight. As for the fight itself, it was very entertaining. You had the superior sharp punching of Katie Taylor versus the incredible work rate and attrition-like style of a Delfine Persoon. Now, early on, first three to five rounds, I would say Katie Taylor showed that she was a sharper fighter, the more skilled fighter, and things of that nature. You know, Katie Taylor was very exceptional in catching Delfine Persoon with counters and setting the pace for the fight of really just being the superior boxer. But even in those rounds she was winning, Delfine Persoon, she showed amazing stamina, amazing ability to press the action, and you could see even in the rounds that she was losing, Delfine Persoon, that she still was able to, you know, be a threat to Katie Taylor. Yes, early on she was missing a lot of shots, but she was making Katie Taylor work, and I think that's something that boxing fans don't quite understand with pressure fighters. Is sometimes with pressure fighters, they may not win the rounds, but if they are able to make the more skilled fighter have to work harder than they're accustomed to, then they are gaining small wins that turn into big wins down the stretch. And that's what happened in this fight, because as the rounds went on, as we got to the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th rounds, you know, those championship rounds of women's boxing, we saw a Delfine Persoon that was getting better, that was catching a second win, that was breaking Katie Taylor down. I mean, Katie Taylor, when we talk Katie Taylor, we're talking about, in women's boxing, a world-class fighter of the highest order. We're talking about arguably the greatest women's fighter, not just right now, but maybe of all time. I think she's that damn good. And she took Katie Taylor, and she took her into some deep, dark places, and she really asked some serious questions of her. You know, she had Katie Taylor huffing and puffing like the big bad wolf about to blow a house down, you know. And we saw Delfine Persoon landing 4, 5, 6 punch combinations flush. We saw Delfine Persoon landing sharp punches that was getting Katie Taylor's attention. And because of that, you know, I think she was able to win a lot of rounds in the second half of the fight. So for me, I scored it a draw. You know, I generally don't like scoring fights draws, but if, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I know the consensus opinion from most of the boxing world and most of the boxing community is, you know, that it was a gift decision for Katie Taylor. You know, being that it was a matchroom card. Hold on, let me cross this damn street. Being that it was a matchroom card, you know, Katie Taylor got the benefit of the doubt, and Persoon won the fight. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm not pissed off of the decision. Like, I don't think it's crazy that Katie Taylor won, but I will say this, you know, if there was ever a fight that was a draw, it was definitely this one. I think if you asked me the question, you know, BT, Brendan, who do you think won the fight? Who deserved the decision more? I would definitely say Delfine Persoon deserved the decision more over Katie Taylor, because of the fact that when we look at the rounds Persoon lost, she was getting outclassed, in my opinion. She was getting outclassed in the round she lost. I still think in the round she lost, she was making Katie Taylor work. She was making life hard on Katie Taylor, as to where when Persoon was winning rounds, she really was winning them clearly and convincingly. So to me, that was the difference in the fight if you had to pick a winner. But I had it a draw, and I think if there was ever a fight that was a draw, it was this one. Now, I will say this. If this fight would have been a 12-round fight like most fights are for men in championship fights, you know, because this was a 10-rounder, you know. If it was a 12-round fight, I have zero doubts in my mind that Delfine Persoon probably would have folded up Katie Taylor like a chair, like a steel chair, like The Rock back in 1999 on Monday Night Raw, folding up a steel chair before it hit somebody over the head. You know, she would have done that in the last 2 rounds to Katie Taylor, because, and this is not a knock on Katie Taylor, because she's represented my last name very, very well, with a lot of class, with a lot of just grace and talent. But I call a spade here on True School Sports, and as much as I like Katie Taylor, as much as I respect her, she lost this fight. I mean, she probably, you know, even though she was a draw and she got the decision, you know, the consensus is that she lost this fight. So it was a great fight. Like, I honestly think what's funny is a lot of people talked about, you know, had it not been for the amazing upset in the main event between Ruiz and Joshua, I think this would have been the fight of the night, because this is clearly better than the Josh Kelly fight. This is clearly better than Joshua Buatti's fight. This is better than Tommy Cole versus Chris Algieri. This was a competitive fight. This was an absolute great fight. And I would even go as far as to say, as far as women's boxing fights, you know, of the ones I've had a chance to watch in my lifetime, Katie Taylor versus Delfine Persoon was the greatest fight in the history of women's boxing, because of the fact that you had Katie Taylor, who had just been running through the weight class, making champions go up to the next weight class to basically not fight her. You know, you had her being the gold medalist, being this girl who's proven to be one of the top 5 pound-for-pound women's fighter, you know, making a run at becoming arguably the greatest Irish fighter in boxing history, maybe the greatest fighter in women's boxing history, taking on a girl in Delfine Persoon who, you know, had 45-1, you know, hasn't lost in 9 years, but, you know, she hadn't really got the credit she deserved because she was fighting a lot in Belgium, so the jury was out on her. She wasn't very known here in America, but she rose to the motherfucking occasion. Excuse my language, but she rose to the occasion. Delfine Persoon was absolutely exceptional, and I think it would be one of the biggest tragedies and one of the biggest crimes in all of boxing if Delfine Persoon never got a rematch, because she earned she left her heart in the ring. And for them to take the titles from her like that in this fight, you know, I thought it should have been a draw. I really, really believe in my heart of hearts that this fight should have been a draw. And the fact that it wasn't a draw pissed me off. You know, I don't think I've ever uttered those words in a video. The fact that a fight not being a draw is pissing me off. But that's how close this fight was to me. That's how close this fight was to me, because Katie Taylor for the first half of the fight was the sharper fighter. She was the more effective fighter. But even in those rounds, Delfine Persoon was breaking her down, making her work, pressing the action, doing a very good job at it. In the second half of the fight, Delfine Persoon was all up in Katie Taylor's ass. Straight up. All up in her ass in the second half of the fight. And the way she was coming forward, the way she was throwing combination punches, the way she was making Katie Taylor have to move and slip punches and parry them and have to work. You know, it was a really good fight, and it was great matchmaking by Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing, so you gotta give him credit where credit is due. It was probably the greatest fight that women's boxing has ever seen, and again, if it wasn't for one of the greatest upsets in the history of heavyweight boxing with Ruiz and Joshua, this would have been the fight of the night. Like, that's how good this fight was. So all I can say is Delfine Persoon didn't deserve to lose her belts that night, in my opinion. I think it should have been a draw. But all I can hope for is a rematch, because if Delfine Persoon has definitely earned a rematch. You know, I know for when it comes to women's boxing, I've been saying things like, you know, the best fight that I want to see in women's boxing is Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. Put that shit on hold. This fight right here was worth it. This fight right here was worth all the hype that Eddie Hearn was talking about during the week. And it's just, it was. I can't say nothing but good things about this fight, because it was that good. And if you haven't watched it, I would highly advise you to go watch that, because both these women left the heart to the ring tonight. And you know, it's funny. A lot of times we hear there's a bad stigma with women's fighters, and I would say in most cases they deserve a bad stigma, because a lot of these women boxers aren't very feminine. Some of these women's boxers have no respect. They always talk about wanting equal pay, equal TV time, but they don't even give you great fights. This was a great fight. So if Katie Taylor and Delfine Persoon want to complain about getting some more money and some TV time, you know, I think they unlike a lot of other women's fighters who will remain nameless, they have kind of earned it. You know, and I still think they should fight 3-minute rounds. I still think it should be 12 rounds, but this was a great fight. We're taking nothing away from Katie Taylor and Delfine Persoon, and I would love to see it again. So you guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Give me your take on like who you thought won, why you thought they won, and yeah, just I would like to hear from you guys on that. As you can see, we ain't quite in Dania no more. We're kind of in transition right now. I'm in Hollywood, which is the neighboring city of Dania. If you don't know, for those of you who aren't familiar with South Florida geography, so I got a couple more videos to shoot while I'm walking around, and I will definitely see you guys later on. So yeah, like I say in every single video, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania, even if we're in Hollywood. And that's Hollywood, Florida, if you don't know. So till next time, take care, guys.
Hey, my fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and you're watching True School Sports.